Hey, what's up? I know this video is super late, and I'm sorry about that, but this season was still a hot mess, so we gotta talk about it. Let's go.
Roxiie says we're gonna talk about it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxiie with Roxiie Says, and we're going to talk about it today. We are reviewing Netflix's season 1 of Temptation Island, episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, since the video was late, I said let me put everything together and push it out to you. So let's get right into this review. But before we do, please don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are made aware when I post a new video. We are so close to 35,000 subscribers. We're so close. So please hit that button, double check, and make sure that you're still subscribed, because sometimes YouTube be unsubscribing people. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's get into this review. Okay, so episode 4 picks up right where we left off, with Grant and Natalie making out, tonguing each other down as usual, and all of the guys, they go back to their villa excited about their little kiss. All right, and it seems as if Grant wanted to keep the kiss in between them, but Natalie clearly had other plans, because she already told everyone at the table. Okay, she told everybody. And although Grant says that he's already crossed the boundary that him and Ashley set for each other, he doesn't feel like he's cheating. Sir, you made out with someone else. That's cheating, okay? So we see Mia take Lino aside for a chat, because she feels a way that he took another girl out to a date, and she says that it's playing on her insecurities. She says, look, I don't want to be the girl who you just come to unload all of your issues on, and then you go take the other girl on a date. That's not what I'm here for. And I'm like, girl, I feel you. But Lino says that he wants to explore his options. So what you have to do, Miss Mia, is stop being a listening ear to Leo, okay? Mia, Maya, whatever. Stop being a listening ear to him, because it's obvious that he's not feeling you like that, okay? So don't give him any more of your time, sis. But even with that, Lino starts telling her how he feels about his date with Alex, right? But Alex is all up in Bryan's face. Remember, Alex is the one who says, yeah, Lino is nice, he's cute or whatever. But when coming to Bryan, she just want to rip his clothes off. Yeah, that's who we're talking about. Don't let people use you up, all your time and your kindness, to be their personal emotional support animal, okay? When you know that they have feelings for other people, or they don't reciprocate the feelings that you have for them, all right? This is just a little show, but I'm talking about, real life, all right? Don't let people waste your time. Anyway, we also see that Kay and Tyler, they're getting closer, and we later see him invite her up to his room again, and they cuddle in the bed together. And even though he's still swearing up and down that he doesn't want anything to happen, he just can't seem to keep this girl out his damn bedroom, okay? Meanwhile, at the women's villa, Taylor had a great time on her date, but she recognized that Cody is what she's used to and might not be the right guy for her, okay? We see that Ashley had a great time with Bandana Man, and he told her that he feels like he can give her what she's been missing with Grant. And I said, okay, Bandana Man, I'm not mad at you. We see Alexa and Shantae. They aren't connecting with anyone, and they clearly aren't trying to, if we're being honest. And that's fine, okay? That's fine for Alexa. Shantae, we're going to talk about her later, all right? But at least we see that all of the ladies are finally starting to loosen up. They're starting to drink, they're starting to dance, and have a good time with the guys in the villa. So the next morning, we see Mark. He pulls up to both the men's villa and the women's villa, and he tells both groups that they each have to pick 2 singles to send home, because by now they should all at least have some type of idea of who they're feeling and who they're not feeling. All right. So ultimately, the men vote out Reba. I don't even know who that girl was, and Mia/Maya. So one of the reasons why Mia goes home is because Lino said that he didn't like that he felt pressured to take her out on a date. And Mia gets really emotional, and she tells the guys, look, I'm so sorry that y'all can't see my genuineness. And she storms off. She just leaves. Girl, you aren't missing out on anything with this bunch. I promise you. You really not, okay? So on the ladies' side, we see that they vote off 2 guys, and Ashley starts crying, and she's explaining to one of them why she had to eliminate him. But she tells him that he is definitely husband material. I'm like, girl, how you know that in 4 days? How do you know that in 4 days? Make it make sense. Anywho, we have a guy, his name is Case, and he wasn't eliminated. He was not eliminated, but he's like, I volunteered to go home. I want to go home. I want to sacrifice myself, because even though he has a connection with Taylor, she's been vibing with other people, and I guess he a little jealous, okay? And it's just too much for him. He just can't take it. I'm like, okay, bye. So Mark tells them that they'll be going on group dates tonight. All of the ladies will be going out together, and all of the guys will be going out together. Everything goes smoothly on the dates for the most part, okay? And during the ladies' group date, they get 2 new singles to enter the villa. And during the guys' group date, same thing happens. They get 2 more singles. And I'm thinking, Are these singles gonna shake things up? Is that what's gonna happen? Let's see, okay? So when the guys bring the two new ladies back to the villa, Olivia is already worried about Grant because she's like, I know that Grant's attention span is so short, and with these new girls here, I don't know what he's gonna do. And I'm like, girl, Grant has already been tonguing down Natalie every chance he could get. Where the hell have you been? None of the other girls in the house told you what's been going on? Okay, child. But the new girls, they do receive a warm welcome overall. So next we see Grant. He's trying to make Natalie jealous by having one of the new girls drink liquor out of his dirty ass belly button, okay? And his reasoning is that Natalie is such a nice girl, right? She's so nice, so he wants to test her a bit. See, ladies, don't be nice. Be mean. Be mean every single time, okay? Because what is this? But Natalie, look, she sets the record straight. She's like, I'm not down for the games. And she says that she absolutely refuses to let Grant try her like that. And I said, period, because Grant was like, oh, you want to get some liquor out of my belly button next? And Natalie was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Love that for you, Natalie, okay? So we later see Grant take Natalie aside, and she tells him that if he is serious about having a connection with her, that is not how he can act in front of her, okay? And if that's how he wants to act, that's fine. He can have his fun, but she's gonna fall all the way back. So Grant apologizes, and he claims that he wasn't trying to disrespect her, which is a lie. Grant, do you know the definition of disrespect? Because you seem to... Anyway, as we can see, Grant is very lame. He's very insecure. He's childish AF, and that's all there is to it, okay? So later that night, we see them take a shower together, Grant and Natalie. They take a shower together, and they definitely
did the do, okay? They did the do. We heard all the sounds. They were in the shower getting it on. They did the do. No questions about it, okay? And if we had any questions about it, the next morning we see Grant. He's venting to Tyler like, oh my God, I just know that Ashley is going to be so devastated by this, but, you know, I don't want it to be over. You know, I came here to prove myself. I slept with Natalie in the shower because I came here to prove myself to Ashley and to my daughter, okay? I'm going through it. This is so hard for me right now. I don't even know what to do. Boy, if you don't shut the up, seriously, because this is so irritating. So next we see Lino, and he's telling Alex that he feels a connection with her, but just last night, she was in the bathroom with Brian doing God knows what, but Lino doesn't know this. So Lino don't know any of this, okay? But Alex does tell him that she is vibing with Brian more, and she doesn't want to tie herself down to anyone. So at least, you know, she's not trying to lead Lino on too much, okay? She does feel like Lino would take things a bit too seriously, and she sees Brian as a friend who she could just do freaky stuff with, okay? So clearly, Alex isn't here looking for anything serious either. Child, now we're back to Grant and Natalie, and after they had their little rendezvous, he tells Natalie that he wants to focus on his relationship with Ashley, and he doesn't want them to do anything physical anymore. And Natalie says that she knew that this is exactly what Grant was going to do, but she's fine with his decision, and she tells him that they can just be besties. I'm like, girl, whatever. Okay, so child, it is bonfire time, and we start with the ladies. And of course, Shantae is absolutely pissed to see Brian in the bathroom alone with Alex, and she's annoyed because Brian isn't proving what he said he would, and he's tap dancing on the line of their boundaries. Tap dancing? That's tap dancing? Girl, so what's actually stepping? What's big stepping? I need to know if that's just tap dancing. And she also says that she's hurt that he would throw away what they have for a girl that he just met. And I'm like, ooh, girl, hold on tight because you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay? So next is Alexa, and she's hurt, and she starts crying because she said that she is absolutely exhausted, feeling like Lino is going to leave her, and she's always putting others before herself, okay? So Mark tells her that she no longer needs to feel guilty about what happened in the beginning of her relationship with Lino because she has proven to him that she does want to be with him, all right? Ciao. Next up is Ashley, and they show her Grant in the shower with Natalie, and with that, we are on to episode 5. Okay, so picking up right where we left off, Ashley says that she actually feels relieved because now she knows for sure that that is exactly who Grant is. But girl, you already knew for sure when he cheated on you 1 month into y'all's relationship. But okay, she says, look, he did this to his child's mother, okay? And he did it to me, and he doesn't deserve either one of us. And she says that it's hard for her to believe that he only cheated once after seeing how it was so easy for him to do it in this experience. So next up is Taylor, and she sees Tyler saying that he's now realizing that the relationship with Taylor is over. The same thing that we've heard him say multiple times, and the same thing that he's going to keep saying throughout the season, all right? So Taylor sees him
all cuddled up in the bed with Kay the previous night, and she starts crying and she says that she is completely broken and she really wanted this to work out. She really wanted this experience to help their relationship, and she starts questioning what she did to make him hurt her like that. And she feels like she isn't worthy because every single person who has ever entered in her life has ended up leaving her. And when she said that, I felt so bad. I felt so bad because she wasn't only talking about relationships, she was talking about friends, family. So I felt so horrible for her. But I feel like before any of these ladies, all of them, before any of them get into a new relationship, if they do leave these guys, which we're going to find out in this review, okay, what they need to do, all of them, is to see the lady. They're also going to need to see the lady and help them change their feelings of self-worth so that they never, ever accept this treatment from anyone ever again. Okay. And I do love that Mark reminds them all that there is a relief in actually knowing who you're dealing with. Okay. Because now they don't have to guess and wonder, right? Is he doing this? Is he this type of person? Is he that type of person? Now they can see it in 4K. Okay. They can see it in 4K and they can now start moving on with their lives. And I do love how he always speaks life into all of the ladies. He speaks life into the guys as well. I think that Mark is an amazing host. I really like him as a host. Okay. So then Mark tells them about the Temptation Haven, child, which is an area where there are no cameras and they can explore Temptation Island to its fullest potential. And I said, ooh, boy. I said, oh boy. So both villas have them. And if anyone goes into the Temptation Haven, the other villa will be alerted that someone else has entered the Haven. And I said, ooh, y'all messy. Y'all so messy. Y'all so messy. So now we have the Fantastic Four. Okay, they're pulling up to their bonfire. And since the ladies have been on their best behavior, in my opinion, the worst thing that was revealed at this bonfire was Taylor telling one of the guys that Tyler had bitch tendencies, which he does. Okay? And I was like, child, I dare you to get upset like you didn't spend the night with Kay all up in your bed, okay? I dare you to get upset about that. So we do see Lino. He comes to the realization that although Alex doesn't need him, she is choosing him and she does want him, and he needs to stop internalizing that she doesn't when she has been showing him that she does, okay? And I definitely misinterpreted that in the earlier episodes when Alexa said that she didn't need Lino, but now it's clear that she meant that she wants him, okay? So Grant has the audacity to get upset about Ashley calling him a POS, a piece of okay, when he has already proven that he is a piece of okay? Like, what do you want from us, Grant? Seriously, what do you want from us? His delusion is out of this world. Out of this world, okay? And the way that he makes himself the victim and starts tearing up is scary. It's honestly scary because what are you crying? Why are you crying, sir? Well, anyway, Mark also tells the guys about the Temptation Haven and all of the rules. And child, I don't even think everyone was back at their villas for a whole hour before Tyler and Kay went into the Temptation Haven, okay? I don't know why I thought that maybe the guys would have some type of powwow conversation and say, hey, how about no one go in the Haven for tonight? You know, because I don't want my girlfriend thinking that it's me in the Haven and then she does something in the women's villa. You know, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know, but I was not expecting for anyone to go into the Haven less than an hour after the damn bonfire. That is not what I was expecting, okay? So when Tyler and Kay go into the Haven, Tyler is all laughing and he's like, no cameras, y'all can't come in here. And we definitely get audio of them making out and the lights start flashing in the women's villa, child, and the ladies are now woken up and they're like, wow, seriously? But of course, they're distraught because none of them know if it's their boyfriend who is in the Haven. And we see Taylor trying to comfort Shantae because she is bawling her eyes out because she is afraid that the person in the Haven is her man, Brian, okay? So, child, next we see that Brian didn't need any Haven. He ain't need no Temptation Haven, okay? Because he goes into the bathroom with Alex and Courtney, and we hear a whole lot of moaning up in there. So it looks like Brian has finally fulfilled his threesome fantasy. Yeah. Brian, who's supposed to be here proving himself to Shantae, just had a threesome with Alex and Courtney. Yeah, that's what he decided to do. And my question is, why did we get bathroom footage of Grant and Natalie when they were doing their thing, but Brian, his bathroom didn't have cameras? Like, what's that about? Not that I wanted to see, but it was just interesting to me. Anyway, next we see Grant and Natalie. They go into the Haven, and they obviously slept together because we heard it. And baby, the lights in the women's villa, they going off. They like this. The lights is going off. So now the women in the villa are like, oh my God, not again. Someone else went into the haven. Someone else went into the haven. And I'm like, look, at this point, the ladies just need to take their behinds into the haven, jump up and down, have a pillow fight. I don't give a damn what y'all do, okay? I don't care what y'all do. Just let the lights go off in the men's villa for once. Let them sweat a little bit. So later we see Brian, and he's in his confessional, and he says he had a great night. He said he had a great night. He had no regrets, okay? And he is still respecting Shantae at the end of the day. If you are confused, Brian is the guy who just had a threesome. Okay, he just had a threesome, and he is also saying that at the end of the day, he is still respecting Shantae. The way that I had to hit rewind, because I know that I didn't hear what he just said. I was like, no, I know that's not right. I was looking at my notes. I was like, no, that's not right. Let's rewind it. But that's exactly what he said. And his body language is so chill and so cavalier and so cold, even though if he had remorse, I would still think that it was fake. The fact that he's not even trying to pretend that he feels bad about it is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And on top of that, he says that his new goal is to get 2 more women into the shower for another threesome. There is no way that he hasn't cheated on Shantae throughout their relationship. There is no way that he hasn't, okay? I just wouldn't believe it. So the next morning, we see him ask Angel on a date. One would think that he would ask one of the girls who he had a threesome with the night before on a date, right? But no. Brian says, look, I'm not going to do that because I don't want them thinking that I'm trying to build an emotional connection with them, because I love and respect Shantae so much. That's how much I love and respect her. Why would I take the girl I had a threesome with out on a date? That's crazy. And Courtney and Alex are in their confessional saying they don't care that Brian didn't go on a date with them. He can go on his little date and they'll see him when they get back home. Okay, girl. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the women's villa, they're all wondering who went in the haven, and Ashley thinks that it was Grant and Taylor thinks that it was Tyler. And I said, ding, ding, ding. Y'all are both right. And we see the guys back at their villa kissing and telling about what they did with everyone like the losers that they are. Okay, so it is date time. We see that Taylor asked Yamin on a date, and she is feeling him because she says that he embodies a real man. And I said, yeah, he definitely ain't giving bitch tendencies like Tyler is, okay? She says that she appreciates how he listened to her after the bonfire because it was a very hard night for her, and she absolutely loves their banter as well. And child, Yemen does say the right things, okay? He be having Taylor smiling and blushing all the time. Meanwhile, Tyler is on a date with Kay, and they talk and they make out. Okay, next. Brian is giving his date a massage, and he claims that he wants to build a relationship with her. This is what he's claiming. And while he's putting oil all up and down the crack of her ass, he tells her that it is very important for him that his woman is a Christian. And she clocks him and she's like, okay, you're in here talking about you want a good girl who's a Christian, but the first time we spoke, you were telling me about threesomes. Like, how do you want a godly woman, but you're out here wanting threesomes? And child, Brian says, look, God knows my heart. He said, God knows my heart and everyone's walk is different. And I'm like, okay, that's true, but still, shut up, Brian. Just shut up. You are here to have sex with people. That is why you're here, okay? And at the end of this little date, Brian says that he found that date to be a bit off-putting because she asks him too many deep questions and he doesn't like deep conversation, so he just uses laughter as a way to get out of those conversations. He even lied to her and said that he doesn't remember when was the last time he had a threesome, when you and I know that it was just last night. Yeah, just the night before. So next we see Ashley, and she's on a very sensual date with Danny, and she's on his lap, and they're doing a little breathing exercise, okay? And they start touching each other as well. It's a very intimate date, and then they have a conversation after it where they tell each other how comfortable they are with each other. And I absolutely love this for Ashley. And next we see Grant and Natalie. They're on their little date, and they make out some more. Nobody cares. But later that night, they also go to bed together. And we also see Tyler and Kay. They go to bed together as well. And to my surprise, Brian actually went to bed alone. I was like, oh, okay. But then at 1 a.m., the Haven alarm starts going off in the men's quarters. And I was like, yes, finally, make these guys sweat. All right. So now all of the guys are stressing out, hoping that it's not their girlfriend who's in the quarters doing the same thing that y'all was doing last night. Okay. Yeah. So now we are on to episode 6. So we find out that Ashley did go in the Haven with Danny. She did. But they didn't do anything, okay? They were just in there to set the alarm off for the guys. And I was like, at least y'all thinking. At least you using your noggin, Ashley, okay? That's exactly what I wanted y'all to do. But Shantae is worried that the light going off in the men's villa will have an effect on what Brian does. Because she's like, I don't want him to think that it was me in the villa. And then he does something. Oh, girl. Oh, girl, don't worry. He's way ahead of you, baby. He's way ahead of you. Just you wait. Anyway, remember the guy Case who decided to leave on his own on episode whatever? Well, he is back now, and he says that he wants to give Taylor the attention that she deserves. And Mark pulls Taylor aside, and he said that it was very important to him that he let her know that her past is not her present. And just because she's experienced people leaving her in the past, that does not dictate her future. He said that when she said what she said at the last bonfire, he felt really bad about it. So he just had to say that to her. And like I said, I can't say it enough how much I love Mark and how he talks to everyone on this show. He's such a gem. He really is. And of course, Taylor is super excited to see that Case has come back because he is one of the guys who she had a strong connection with. But if I was Taylor, I don't think I would be too excited about him knowing that he can just pick up and leave like that, okay? But whatever. She tells Case that she is now single, and he tells her not to feel any pressure to make any decisions with him being back. And I'm like, pressure from who? You see who she's been connected with? You mean Yaman, Yemen, you don't worry. You're not giving no pressure at all, sir, at all right? So we see them do multiple activities in both the men's and the women's villa. We see them playing pickleball. They pitch a tent. Okay, later in the afternoon, we see them have a neon paint party. And one of the guys is really confused about that paint party because he sees Shantae write, I love Brian in the paint on her arm. And he's in a confessional with another guy, and they're both looking at each other like, didn't she just see him go in the bathroom with another chick at the bonfire? Like, why is she writing I love Brian on her arm? And they're laughing about it. And I'm like, Shantae, stand up, girl. Stand up. Even the guys in the villa are looking at you like you're absolutely nuts, sis. This is crazy. Meanwhile, at the men's villa, we see that Brian is feeling a Maya, and we also hear him trying to rationalize his threesome. So get this, okay? Get this. Listen close. He says that having sex with one person, like a one-on-one little rendezvous, that would have been too similar to what him and Shantae have, okay, which is sacred. So a threesome is better. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, a threesome is better. Why stop at a threesome, though? Have a foursome, child. Make it an orgy, okay? The limit does not exist. I'm so sure that Shantae would be super proud of you, Brian, and say, well, baby, as long as you didn't do it one-on-one, that's okay with me. When I tell you that Brian is a hot mess, because we later see him having a conversation with Courtney, and he's telling her that he's so happy that they had the threesome and he got it out of his system because now he knows that it's not all that he thought it would be, and he doesn't have to bother Shantae about it anymore. Baby, the way that my jaw was on the floor because Courtney, how are you not cursing this man out right now? And girl, you also need to be cursing yourself out. If you actually wanted a relationship with him, if all you wanted was a little fun, then okay, you got what you want. But if not, what Brian pretty much just told you was, thank you for your services, but I'm good. And on top of that, Brian is 100% confident that Shantae will forgive him. And he says that him having a threesome will actually improve their relationship. And once again, he reiterates that he doesn't have any regrets about what he did. This level of audacity is absolutely gross. It really is, okay? So next we see that Ashley and Danny are getting closer and they're spending more time together. They go into the Haven again, and child, the lights start flashing in the men's villa. So the guys decide to go tit for tat because they say they don't want to be one-upped by the ladies, all right? So Grant takes Natalie into the Haven and the lights start flashing in the women's villa. The only difference is Ashley and Danny are making out in the Haven while Grant and Natalie are actually having sex in the Haven, okay? And can you believe that the next morning when the guys are all talking to Grant, he tells them that he's feeling Natalie a lot. However, he would consider forgiving Ashley and taking her back. You would consider forgiving Ashley? How does that work, sir? And he also says if she's just able to let go of her resentment and just hear him out, and if she's willing to put the work in, he might marry her one day. Oh my God.
What a lucky day that would be for Ashley to be legally binded to Grant. Oh my goodness, that sounds like a ball. So by now we see Grant's pattern, right? He sleeps with Natalie, and then the next morning he's all regretful and, oh, I love Ashley, blah, blah, blah. I cannot stand Grant and Brian. I cannot stand these two, if you haven't already noticed. But at least the guys are real enough to tell him, bruh, Ashley's not going to take you back. They're like, she's not going to take you back after seeing all of this, okay? So Tyler isn't a part of this little conversation because he's still laid up in bed with Kay, all right? So they've been sleeping together in the bed, but he says that they haven't been sexual yet. All right, so child, it is bonfire time, and they start with the guys. Tyler is happy to see that Taylor hasn't developed a stronger connection with anyone. And when Mark asks him about his connection with Kay, he says that Kay is so refreshing and she handles conflict and stress so well. And I'm like, yeah, Tyler, it's because you haven't cheated on her yet, like you did with Taylor and like you most likely did with your ex-wife as well, okay? So next up is Brian. He sees Shantae crying at the thought of him being in the Haven, and he is so unmoved by her tears. He is so unmoved by seeing her in this state. Even though it wasn't him in the tent, he does tell Mark that he had a threesome and he doesn't regret it. Brian is willing to tell anyone willing to hear it that he had a threesome and he doesn't regret it, okay? He wants everyone to know this. But he finally says that he knows now that threesomes will not fulfill him. What's wrong? You realize that you can't satisfy two women, so you're like, oh, I'll just stick to not satisfying one. Brian gets on my damn nerves, all right? Child, when he said that, Mark's face was like, excuse me, come again? You had a threesome? He looked disgusted with him. He really did, all right? So Lino sees that Alexa has found comfort in a guy named Gio, one of the new guys, and Gio is Italian like him, so he says that he understands why she gravitated towards him, but he says that he's not too shaken up about it because they kept everything pretty G-rated, all right? We see Grant get absolutely pissed, and he starts tearing up after seeing Ashley go into the Haven to make out with Danny, and he feels like Ashley is looking at Danny like she's already in love with him, and I'm like, and how many times have you slept with Natalie, huh? Like, we don't even care. So Mark tells him that there's a gap in between what Grant is saying and what he's actually doing. And I said, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark, for not allowing Grant to sit here and act like he's the victim in this situation. And Mark also lets them know that when they go back to their villa, the Haven will now be gone, okay? And they will have the opportunity to record a 30-second video to send to their partners and tell them how they feel about the experience so far. So now it is time for the ladies' bonfire. First up is Ashley, and we see her and the other ladies laughing at Grant, saying that he hopes that they can make it out of this together right after they just watched him go into the Haven with Natalie. The delusion, the entitlement, the lack of self-awareness is real with this guy, all right? Ashley says that she has no words left for this child, and she knows that she'll be fine without him. So next, we see Lino chatting it up with Alex, and Alexa isn't really hurt by hearing him express interest in the other ladies, and she does say that she still loves Lino and she wants to be with him. So next up, we see Taylor. She watches footage of Tyler and Kay going into the Haven and making out on the beach, and she's absolutely pissed at how funny this all was to him, because remember when he went in the Haven, he was like, no cameras, making a joke out of it, and she says, well, he looks happy, so I'm happy for him. She also says that she knew that Tyler was going to pick Kay. She knew he was going to pick Kay from the very beginning, and throughout their relationship, Tyler has always manipulated her. So now we know for sure that Tyler only picked Courtney to appear as if he wasn't going after his true interest. He definitely picked Courtney to throw Taylor off, okay? But Taylor already knew, and she says that she deserves someone who is going to choose her every day. And I love that Taylor is coming to that realization. Next up is Shantae, and baby, the little speech that Mark gave to Shantae before rolling Brian's footage had all of the ladies looking at Shantae like, girl, what he did, like, girl. And that's where episode 6 ended, and we are now on to episode 7. But did you hit subscribe? Okay, did you hit subscribe? I'm here recapping 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for you in one video. Please hit subscribe. We are almost at 35K. Thank you so much. All right. So Shantae sees footage of the threesome as well as Brian's confessional, saying that he doesn't regret it. All right. And Shantae says that it makes her feel a little dumb, but she doesn't think that he would have done this to her in the real world. So with that logic, Shantae, what was the point of even coming on this show? What was the point of coming here? You guys said that you're coming here so that he can prove to you that you can trust him.
but when he has a damn threesome, you say he wouldn't have done it to you in the real world. So if you're gonna negate everything that he does here, what was the point of coming, sis? Why are you even here? What's Shantae, you're confusing me, and quite frankly, you pissing me off, all right? So all of the other women are looking at Shantae like, girl, what? He just had a threesome, sis. And you can see that Shantae is doing mental gymnastics to try to rationalize Brian's behavior and act like she doesn't care about it. And I absolutely hate this for Shantae, but she'll know when she's had enough of Brian's bullshit. She'll know. And it's not only that Brian is sleeping with other people. He knows that Shantae is going to see it, right? And he is completely unapologetic. And he was completely okay with embarrassing her on national television. So Mark tells them about the Haven being removed as well and their option to make a 30-second video for their boyfriends, all right? So now we see the ladies, they go back to the villa and the guys are trying to cheer them up. And we see Ashley and Alexa telling the guys Shantae's business about what they saw Brian doing at the bonfire. And in my opinion, that information was not for anyone to share other than Shantae, but that's just my opinion, whatever. Because at this point, Shantae is still in her confessional, wondering if her and Brian can leave here together, when in my opinion, that should be the very last thing that she wants to do, all right? And we later see Alexa go check on her, and she finally breaks down and cried, which she absolutely refused to do at the bonfire after seeing the video of Brian. And even after all of this, Shantae refuses to speak down on Brian, even though she's extremely hurt by him, and he's showing no remorse. So back at the men's villa, we see Grant telling Natalie and Brian that he's thinking of cutting things off with Ashley for good. And I'm like, so let me guess, he's gonna sleep with Natalie tonight and then act all butthurt and confused tomorrow like what he's been doing. But he does claim that for his 30-second video, he is going to send Ashley a video breaking up with her, okay? Remember that. This is what he said that he's gonna do. So later, we see Brian in bed chatting it up with Amaya, letting her know about his little threesome revelation and realizing that a threesome was just something that he hung over Shantae's head when the whole time he was the problem, not her. And Amaya isn't feeling the conversation. She's like, I think this conversation is above my pay grade. And she says, maybe they shouldn't have it in this setting, right? Like not in his damn bed. And he's like, why? Why not? What's wrong with having the conversation here? Listen, y'all do not need to explain yourselves to anyone. If you are feeling uncomfortable, get your ass up and leave, okay? Get up and leave. You do not have to stay there and explain to them why you want to leave, all right? So then, because she doesn't want to have that conversation with him, he catches a whole ass attitude like a little bitch. Yes, because that is exactly what he was acting like, because what he's doing right now is being manipulative and coercive, and I don't like that shit. He's pretty much saying, well, I don't care if you feel uncomfortable. I want to have this conversation with you right now in my bed. Boy, if you don't get the f up out of here. And I'm really happy that Amaya left his ass in the bedroom alone. Brian wanted that little conversation to turn into something more, which is why he wanted to keep the conversation in the bedroom, okay? He wanted to appear as if he was being vulnerable and probably was hoping for Amaya to have a competitive spirit when he brought up the threesome. Maybe he was hoping she would say something like, well, I can do it better than the both of them. Boy, bye, all right? So the next morning, we see everyone stressing about if they should send a video and wondering if they're going to receive a video. They're really nervous about what to say, how it's all going to play out, all of that, okay? So we see Taylor spending more time with Yamin, and they're getting really close and really comfy, and he is definitely Taylor's top pick for now. Next, we see the ladies send 4 men home, but we don't know any of them, so bye. We also see the men send 4 ladies home, and child, one of those 4 ladies was Courtney, one of the threesome girls, child. So damn, Brian, you couldn't even save one of the ladies who you slept with? Jeez. And in her confessional, she says that she is absolutely shocked and she didn't see it coming. Girl, I am shocked for you, okay? I'm embarrassed for you, honestly. So it is video confessional time, and Grant sends one to Ashley where he is telling her what a great man he is, what a great father he is, and that he deserves to be loved. And he feels absolutely heartbroken about the way that Ashley spoke about him, just straight up guilt tripping her the entire video, for the entire video. And catch this man has the audacity to say, I forgive you and I forgive myself. Sir, I beg your motherfucking pardon. Are you crazy? Is he crazy? He didn't even say he was sorry for sleeping with Natalie. He didn't address any of that. He just says, I forgive you and I forgive myself. Child, Ashley is just rolling her eyes the entire time. And she says that although she feels bad for what she said about Grant, he cannot compare what she said to him sleeping with someone else multiple times. And I'm like, exactly, Ashley. Baby, when Grant went to open up his box expecting a video from Ashley and he saw that the box was empty,
Baby, the way that I cackled. I absolutely loved that. You got exactly what you deserved, which is nothing. Take your ass on back to the villa and go cry in Natalie's arms, okay? Because didn't you just say that your video message was gonna be you breaking up with Ashley? Isn't that what you said? Because that sure as hell ain't what we saw in the video. Anyway, Grant takes Ashley not sending him a message to mean that she can't let go of her resentment. Nothing that he did. He did nothing wrong. Ashley can't let go of her resentment. She's the problem, okay? So next we see some other video messages. Alexa and Lino both leave each other messages telling each other how much they love and miss each other and how much they want to be together at the end of all this. And Alexa specifically lets Lino know that he will always be her first choice. And baby, they both break down in tears while they're watching each other's video message. And at this moment, I was like, yeah, these two are definitely leaving here together. It's clear that they love each other. They just have a couple of kinks that they need to work out. And isn't it so funny that this is the only couple who didn't put any rules on each other for the experience? And this is also the only couple who's been pretty much faithful the entire time. I just found that to be very interesting. So next we see that Tyler did not get a video message from Taylor, and he is absolutely pissed off. He says like he feels like he just got clowned. So he goes back to the villa and he cuddles with Kay. And in Taylor's confessional, she says, look, I didn't send a video because I don't have nothing to say to him after what he's been doing. Like, what else is there to say, right? So next we see Tyler's little video, and he doesn't say much other than, I want the best for you and I love you. And I'm like, okay. So Taylor gets upset because he didn't acknowledge that he crossed any lines at all. And she says that that shows a lack of growth and maturity on his end. So child, she runs back to the villa right into Yamin's big, strong arms. And I hope that he gets like an acting role or something out of this, because yeah, I would like to see him more. I would like to see more of him, okay? Child, next we see Shantae. She's listening to Brian's message, and he says that he loves her, and now he's ready to love her deeply and passionately because he has realized that he doesn't need a threesome anymore, okay? He's like, look, girl, I had the threesome. It wasn't as great as I thought it would be. So now, we can get back together. Mind you, at the beginning of Brian's relationship, he left Shantae for someone else, right? And she allowed him to come back after he realized that the grass wasn't greener, okay? So this is Brian's pattern as well. He's going to try something else, and he knows that he can always come back to Shantae. Brian says that he will never make Shantae feel insufficient. And we actually see her crack a smile when she hears him say this in the video. And I'm like, Shantae, that's it? That's all he had to say to make you smile after what he did? And in her confessional, she says that she's really happy that he acknowledged what he did, and he sounds super apologetic, but she's gonna see how he handles the rest of this experience. I think that even if Brian didn't leave a video, Shantae would have still made some type of excuse for his behavior, okay? So next we see Shantae's video, and she tells Brian that his actions, as well as him saying that he had no regrets, genuinely crushed her, and she wonders if he ever considered how she would feel. Shantae, the answer to that is no. He said he had no regrets. So clearly he wasn't considering you, baby. You already had the answer to that question, okay? But we are now on episode 8, all right? And it is date day, so everyone is going out with the people who they asked on a date the night before. So child, we see Amaya talking to Brian. She took him aside and she's like, look, you don't take accountability for your actions. You pick and choose when you want to be single. And she tells him that he does it very selfishly. It's clear that he's not thinking about Shantae, and she's a girl's girl, so she can't get down with this. So she declines his date invitation that he gave to her last night. And I said, yes, Amaya. I like Amaya. I like her, okay? And I do love that we later get to see Brian sitting by himself on a solo date. That's what he gets because he's a selfish loser. Everyone laugh at Brian. Everyone, you suck. Okay, so we see Grant on a date with Natalie, and he writes her a love letter, and they speak about dating after this experience. Whatever, we don't care about them. So we also see Ashley and Danny. They go on a little pottery date and they kiss, and you can see that these two are getting real close and real comfortable. And I was so excited to see it. Like I said before, I love it for Ashley because Grant is a piece of shit, all right? And then we later see that Ashley asks Danny to spend the night with her, and they get in the bed and they make out some more, child. Oh, I cannot wait for Grant to see this at the next bonfire. Oh, I really can't. I really can't. Baby, the ladies are not playing this week because next we see Taylor on a date with Yamin and they make out under a waterfall. I mean, it was a very romantic setting. Like, how could you not make out under that waterfall? Like, absolutely impossible. I'm so happy for the ladies because they need to let these boyfriends go and move on, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to end up with one of these guys, right? No, that's not what it means. But at least they see that there's a possibility that their boyfriends who have already cheated on them, with the exception of Lino, are not the end all be all. Okay. We see Tyler. He goes on a date with Kay and he says that he wants to get clarity on where they stand. And he tells her that he hopes that he can be out with the old and in with the new. And I'm like, Kay, please do not be flattered by that because I'm sure that he told the same thing to Taylor when he was leaving his ex-wife, okay? But we do see Kay in her confessional and she's crying and she says that she feels so safe and secure with Tyler. And I'm like, okay, girl. Okay. So next we see Shantae. She goes on a date with someone. I don't even know his name. And she says that she went on a date with him because there would be no pressure. And I just feel like Shantae is going on dates with people who she knows who she isn't really attracted to and who she won't be tempted by. And at this point, it's low-key, high-key, pissing me off. It really is, okay? Because you got some fine-ass people in that villa, Shantae. So what the hell are you doing? Your boyfriend had a threesome, girl. Wake your ass up. Huh. Child, we see Alexa and Lino, they go on their dates, and they're both pretty much saying that after seeing each other's video message, even if there is someone that they are attracted to, their real relationships is all that matters at this point, okay? These singles are pretty much all going to be friend zone from here on out. So now it is time for the final bonfire, okay? We start with Shantae, and she sees Amaya telling Brian about himself, and Mark sees that Shantae is being all stoic and strong, but he wonders if she's going to keep that same energy when she sees Brian in person, and Shantae claims that she's going to have a tough conversation with him, and I already knew what she meant by that, girl. You ain't going nowhere, all right? So next, Ashley sees Grant read Natalie that love letter, and she's still annoyed because he took no accountability for his actions in his little video that he sent over. And Mark tells her that her job is to acknowledge what love means for her, right? And he also says that this experience will show her if that is what Grant has been giving to her all this time or not. Next, we see that Alexa is still very hopeful after the video that Lino sent earlier, and she's still really hopeful because in this footage, all she saw Lino do was hold Alex's hand when they were on a date, and she says that she's not tripping off of that. Next, we see Tyler on his date with Kay, and he's in his confessional talking about the possibility of falling in love with Kay, and child, Taylor says, I'm happy for him. That's her favorite thing to say. Oh, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. And she also says that she thought that this experience was for him, but she's actually learning that it was really for her, and she is super proud of herself. So Mark lets the ladies know that they get to select one guy for an overnight intimate date, and none of it will be seen by their partners because this is the last bonfire, okay? So they can wild out, they can do what they want to do, and their partners will never know, all right? The guys who aren't chosen tonight will be sent home, and of course the men in the villa will get the same opportunity. So now it is time for the men's bonfire, and we start with Grant, and he sees Ashley making out with Danny on their date and in her bed. And child, production is so messy because they let this video play for so long to the point where Grant had to say, okay, Mark, okay, I've seen enough. I love this for him. I really do. I can't help it. And Grant says, looks like she's moved on, as have I. I've moved on too, and I'm relieved that it's over because I always wanted it to be over, and I was just forcing it for some time because, I did wrong earlier in the relationship, but I moved on too, See how people will waste your damn time talking about he wished that it was over a long time ago, but if that really is the truth and he's just not saying that because he's salty, then I am truly happy that they came here so that they can both move on with their lives, okay? Lino likes what he sees in his video because Alexa is still holding him down, and he says that he's really happy for her and proud of himself, knowing that he had the opportunity to act on some of his temptations, but he didn't. So I'm proud of you too, Lino, all right? Next, Tyler sees Taylor making out and getting closer to Yamin, and he claims that he's happy for her, and he acknowledges that they got together at an inappropriate time, which I already assumed in my first review, okay? But isn't it funny that they both say that they're happy for each other? Clearly, that's just their thing to say. And Tyler says that he feels like he probably doesn't fit the mold of the man that Taylor truly needs in life. You just realize that? Are you just realizing that? And he also says that being with Kay is exciting because they're in the honeymoon stage. Yeah, that's usually
how the honeymoon stage is, and then real life hits you, and then y'all like, what the hell is going on? Okay. But he's not sure if he wants to just jump into things with Kay because he has a pattern of jumping into the next relationship. We gonna see what happens, all right? Next, Brian watches Shantae video of her saying how embarrassed she is at his behavior. And he says coming into this, he thought that he was the issue, but now he's seeing that the issue is actually him, okay? Brian discusses not creating a safe environment for Shantae to feel and show her emotions. And when Mark pries a little bit more, we learned that Brian's parents were actually on drugs, and he was taken out of his home at the very young age of 2, and he grew up in the foster care system, and he was abused, and he had a pretty tough life, all right? And just like Mark said, that information does bring a lot of enlightenment into who Brian is as a person, okay? We are all a product of our childhood and our life experiences, but Brian is now old enough to go see the lady, okay? If you are grown enough to fill out an application and bring your ass on this show, you can book an appointment to go see the lady and sort your shit out, okay? Instead of acting like a threesome was the solution to all of your life problems. Go see the lady, all right? So after Brian shows Mark and the guys his emotions in a way that he says that he has never even shown to Shantae, Mark lets them know about the overnight dates. And he says the next time that they're here, their original partners will be here as well, child. And this is when they will decide if they're going to leave with their partner, leave with their new connection, or leave alone. So the guys are walking back to the truck, and we see Lino saying that he feels like he is finally ready to pop the question to Alexa. So now we are on to episode 9, all right? And it's pretty much everyone asking their connections on their final dates, and we pretty much know who's going to ask who. We know who's been vibing at this point, all right? But we do see Amaya agree to go on the final date with Brian, even though she turned down his last date invitation. And Brian tells her that he's only seen Shantae in videos talking to other women, not to any men, so he knows for sure that she only wants him, and now he knows that he only wants her. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, sir. So we then see Shantae asking Hashim to go on a final date. And I was like, finally, she picked somebody fine, okay? She finally picked a cutie. But at that point, I was also like, you know what? I highly doubt that these two will even hold hands. So let me not get too excited messing around with Shantae. And even the next morning, we see the lady still trying to talk some sense into Shantae because she's there talking about the love isn't gone. We were planning on getting engaged next year. And the other ladies are like, look, it's not only that he cheated on you, girl, but he did it for everyone to see. And he wasn't even remorseful. And Shantae's just like, yeah, I know. She's not leaving him. She's not leaving him. Well, at least in this season, because I've seen recent updates from after the show, so we'll talk about that later. But anywho, we see all of the singles in both villas who weren't chosen pack their stuff up and leave, so goodbye to them. And next we see Lino on the phone with Alex's dad, with Alexa's dad, and he asks for Alexa's dad's blessing, and he gets it very easily. You can see that dad really, really likes Lino. They end the call with I love yous. It was just a very sweet, wholesome moment, and we later see him go with his date to pick out Alexa's engagement ring and to write his proposal speech. So, child, next, we see everyone go on their dates with their final picks, and the dates pretty much give PG-13, the day dates at least, but everyone is very nervous about the overnight portion of the date, as well as the next meetup with their partners at the final bonfire, okay? So we see that Amaya makes Brian sleep on the floor, which he is so proud of himself for doing because he feels like the fact that he's even able to sleep on the floor when he's in a room with a bed and another woman, that must mean that he really, really loves Shantae, okay? The way that he is able to rationalize things in his head, it's so scary. It is so scary. So next we see Yamin and Taylor. They make out and they go to bed together. All right. Tyler and Kay, they go to bed together. And we see Ashley and Danny. They're having a drink. And she tells him that although she really likes him, she just can't make the decision right now about leaving the island with him. So they can just see where things go. Okay. But in Ashley's confessional, she tells us that she will most likely be leaving the island alone. We'll see what happens. But later that night, we do see her and Danny. They're making out all over the resort, and that makeout session leads to the bedroom, but we don't hear or see what happens in the bedroom, of course, so we don't know what happened with any of these people this night, okay? But we do see Grant and Natalie. They're chatting, and she lets him know that she can't go there with Grant until he has completely cut things off with Ashley, and I'm like, girl, go where? Where else can you go? Y'all done slept together like 15, 11 times. Where else is there to go? And in Grant's confessional, he says, tonight will be the night that I will fall free. Okay, no, he doesn't say that, but he does say that tonight we'll decide if he moves forward with Natalie or with Ashley. I hate that he even thinks that leaving here with Ashley is an option. The audacity of this man. So, child, it's next morning and we see everyone. They're saying their goodbyes to their dates because they're going to spend some time alone to get their thoughts together before they see their original partners at tonight's bonfire. So feelings are definitely mixed. People are nervous, they're confused, they're sad, all of the things. I will say that I did like hearing Brian say in his confessional that he has now realized that he's used women in the past to fill all of the spots of love that he didn't have growing up. So he is learning and acknowledging things. Go see the lady, okay? Go see the lady. But Shantae should still leave his ass. Let him go see the lady and figure his stuff out on his own, okay? You don't need to be there for that, Shantae. He has hurt you enough. So we do see the guys and the ladies. They get together and they talk about what they plan to say to their partners when they finally see each other. And they thank each other for being there through this crazy experience. Y'all know how I feel about these shows. I always love when they leave with friends, even if they don't leave with their partner or with a new partner. I just love when people bond through friendship over these shows, okay? So, child, we are now on to episode 10. We are at the final bonfire, and the way that Shantae and Brian broke down and started crying when they saw each other, I already knew how this was going to go. I already knew exactly how this was going to go. So Mark lets them know that they'll each have a chance to speak uninterrupted, and then they can have a conversation, ask each other whatever questions they need to ask each other, and then decide what they're going to do. So Shantae tells Brian that what he did to her hurt her and it made her feel very worthless, and she didn't like hearing other women also saying how disrespectful he was while being in the villa. Women, listen to other women, okay? Every woman isn't a jealous hater, okay? Your boyfriend's ex, she might not be a jealous hater. She might know what the hell she's talking about. She might, all right? Anyway, Brian starts crying and he says that he's so sorry for what he did and he wasn't a good man before they came here and he was abused as a child and he abused women because of that. But now he's a changed man because he had that threesome. So now he knows that he can be a good person. And he also says that he doesn't deserve Shantae. Now, remember, we have spoken about this in previous reviews. I'm sure for like Love is Blind or something. But remember to always watch out when you hear someone say that. Do not take it as flattery. Don't take it as, oh my gosh, he really liked me. No. Usually that means that they're going to cheat on you, okay? That's what it usually means because they know that they lack something, right? And they cheat on you to try to build themselves up because they know that you're too good for them. They know you're too good for them and they need to bring you down a level in their mind, at least, even if you don't find out that they cheated on you, okay? And we already seen him do all of this. We already seen him do it. Brian says that he wants to leave with Shantae, and when it's Shantae's turn, she asks for a second, okay? She gets up, she runs over to a producer, and she starts crying, and she says that she's battling with this decision because she believes that he can actually change. And I get it. I get it because who wouldn't want someone who they love to actually change, whether it's a romantic relationship, a familial relationship, a friendship, right? So I definitely understand Shantae in that aspect. But unfortunately, baby, most of the times they don't change. Most of the times they don't change, all right? So when Shantae comes back, she says, look, I have to choose myself. And I was like, okay, Shantae, let's go. But then she keeps talking, right? She keeps talking and telling him how much she loves him and how much she wants to be with him. So Mark was like, hello, Shantae. So what do you want to do? What's your decision? And she says, I'm going to leave the island with him. Child, we were so close. We were so close. Mark looked so disgusted and disappointed, but he sends them on their way. Are y'all surprised? Well, y'all probably already seen this. Were y'all surprised? Because I sure as hell was not. Okay, so now it is time for Tyler and Taylor. And when Tyler arrives, he asks Taylor for a hug, and she's like, no, thank you. I was like, period. Do not hug that man. Taylor says that she had faith in Tyler up until he crossed that boundary that they had set up for each other. Not only did he cross it, he was very nonchalant about it. He laughed about it. And she said, by trying to play me, you actually played yourself. I said, period. And then she says that he will not get the opportunity to know this new and improved version of her. Tyler says that when he heard Taylor say those mean things about him, remember, because she made a comment about him leaving the toilet seat up and said that he had bitch tendencies, which he does. He says that he wasn't expecting her to say those things and she made him feel clowned. So he's really trying to equate what they both did. Like, that's really what he's doing. Mind you, this is another relationship where he cheated like 1 month into the relationship, okay? And the reason why they came here was for him to prove himself to her, okay? Keep that in mind. But he does apologize, and he says that he's made a connection with someone else who actually values him. Taylor's like, you know what, let me run your whole facts, okay? And she reminds him that he wasted no time getting touchy-feely with the other women, and she asks him if he was even thinking about her at all, and she starts tearing up when he said, well, of course I was thinking about you. Child, then they start arguing about their relationship, and Tyler expresses how upset he was about the comments that Taylor made. But Taylor tells him, look, I'm not here to raise you, okay? I'm only here to motivate you. You haven't had a job in an entire year, and I've just been taking care of everything. And I'm like, Kay, are you close by? Did you hear any of that? Are you ready to spend your whole little check putting a roof over Tyler's head, sweetie? Is that what you're ready to do? Did he tell you all those nights that you was laid up in his bed that he doesn't have a damn job? Did he tell you any of that? And Tyler says that he's not living life in a direction where he wants to be a provider and give anyone any stability. Okay? Clearly, that's the life that Tyler wants to live. He doesn't want to give anyone stability, but he will live off of you because that's what he's been doing with Taylor for an entire year. All right? And it's very obvious that everything that Taylor is saying is true because as she's speaking, his face is just getting so red and he keeps swallowing like he's trying not to cry. And he can't really rebut anything that she's saying because it's facts. Listen, Tyler does not want to be pushed, girl. Let him be a bum. Let him be a hobosexual in peace. All right. Anyway, we see that Taylor decides to leave alone and Tyler decides to leave with Kay. So once Taylor leaves and she gets in the truck, Kay comes out and Tyler asks her to leave the island with him. And of course, Kay accepts. And I'm like, yay, girl, enjoy your prize. Enjoy your prize, girl. Congratulations to Taylor, though, for choosing herself. So now it is time for Ashley and Grant. And baby, Grant tries to hug Ashley and she puts her hand up like, no, it's okay. And child, he looked like he wanted to burst into tears right then and there. And I absolutely love that for him. So he says that he loves her so much. And although he chased her, he should have realized that what he was chasing this entire time was actually unattainable. But the connection that he made with Natalie was real and it was not out of spite. He also says that he felt disrespected and belittled in his relationship with Ashley the entire time. Mind you, he cheated on her a month into their relationship. Let's remember this, another one. But again, he says that he forgives her and he forgives himself. And Ashley says, look, I don't have much to say because you could have just told me that you were unable to be faithful because just in a matter of days, you were railing another girl in the bathroom. And another thing, I don't know what you think you're trying to forgive me for when all of my actions were only a reaction to what you did. And I'm so happy that she called that out because Grant is Delulu and he needs to go see the lady too. What the hell do you mean I forgive you? You're the one who's done all the wrong, sir. Are you okay? Child, then she lets him know that he's a serial cheater and she's been catching him in lies even before they even came to this experience, okay? So she is now relieved to actually see him in action. So we see the conversation get really heated and they both start to cry. But one thing they're on the same page about is that they both believe that this relationship has run its course, all right? So Grant says that he wants to leave alone and Ashley says that she wants to leave with Danny. And baby, when she said that, Grant drops his head right in his hands and he starts making crying sounds, but we didn't see any tears, so whatever, all right? This is definitely for the best, though. They are not each other's person at all. That is very clear. And Grant says that Natalie was great, but he needs to be alone just for a bit. So that's that with those two, all right? So we see Grant leave. Danny comes out, and of course, he accepts Ashley's invitation to leave the island together. So last but not least, we have Alexa and Lino, and they are so excited to see each other. These two are so cute. They're so cute. They just tell each other how much they love each other, how much they've missed each other, how committed they are to working on their relationship and working through all of their issues. They apologize and they reassure each other that neither of them did anything that the other wouldn't approve of while in the villas. So of course, they decide to leave together, and as they're walking away hand in hand, they don't go into a black truck like everyone else did. Instead, they walk to this beautiful setup, okay? We see Lino walk Alexa to the perfect spot. She starts crying because she already knows what's happening. Lino proposes, and of course, Alexa says yes. So congratulations to these two. They're so cute, and I'm definitely wishing them all the best. And baby, that's that for Temptation Island Season 1 on Netflix, okay? I just gave y'all episodes, 4 to 10? So there wasn't an official reunion for this show, but I do think that they all went on, I think the Nick Vile podcast or someone's podcast, and they talked about it. I haven't watched it. I won't be watching it. I haven't really been keeping up with these people or the show at all, but I did see a post a couple of weeks ago, maybe like a week or so ago, that, what's her name? Shantae actually dumped or broke up with Brian. So congratulations to her for leaving him. And that's pretty much it. Let me know all of your thoughts on the season. Before you leave, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you're made aware when I post a new video. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye!
Roxiie says we're gonna